Should the Dallas Mavericks blow it up? This is the number one question Mavericks fans have been asking themselves all season long, even before Nico Harrison got fired, as the current direction the Mavericks are going is fairly questionable. The Dallas Mavericks are on a 2-game win streak, but they are the 12th seed in the West with a 7-15 record, and even though we did have a big win against the Denver Nuggets, some Mavericks fans just aren't sold. They don't think that this is sustainable for the future or until Kyrie Irving returns, where some Mavericks fans feel like, no, this is exactly what we've been waiting for. This is the team that we all have wanted to see, where AD is dominating, Cooper Flag is doing his thing, and everybody else is just following in line. So in this video, we're going to take a look at Anthony Davis, who is at the center of all trade rumors, see whether or not it is worth keeping him, if it's worth trading him, as well as what is best for the Dallas Mavericks. But how's it going, everybody? My name is Marcel Martin. This is Mavs Digest, bringing you the latest news on everything Mavericks related. And before we get started with today's video, we're currently sitting at 23,382 subscribers. As you know, we're growing by the day, trying to get to 25K. But if you want to be up to date on everything Mavericks related, make sure you subscribe. But the Dallas Mavericks are in a very, very interesting situation where trade rumors are flying left, right, and center all day, every day. And on this channel, we are following every single trade rumor to see where does the truth lie. But the truth of the matter is the Dallas Mavericks are in a very weird predicament. We are the 12th seed in the West, a much better improvement from being the 15th seed, but we are the 12th seed. We do have a losing record. We are 7-15, but we are on a 2-game win streak. We beat the Clippers, led by Cooper Flag in an amazing fashion, but it is the Clippers. They're doing very, very bad this year. They're pretty much giving away their first-round pick to OKC, guaranteeing them the number 1 pick, but after that, we played the Denver Nuggets, where we were heavily depleted. We had no Kyrie, no PJ, no Gafford, no Lively, no Dante, but not sure if that really mattered. And even then, we still were able to win against the Denver Nuggets, led by Anthony Davis, Cooper Flag, and Ryan Nembhard. Mavericks fans are divided, and rightfully so. A lot of them don't believe in what this team currently can do as constructed, even when healthy, whereas some fans are begging, pleading, just give it some time. Let the team gel. You need to let them get to where they need to be. Obviously, when we're not healthy, when guys are in and out of the lineup, you're not going to see the finished product. And we talked about it on this channel, how there are rumors surrounding Anthony Davis potentially being traded. And of course, we know that Kyrie Irving as well as Jason Kidd are pleading with Mark Cuban. Don't trade AD yet. Give us some time to figure things out. At least let him go out there, get healthy, and build up his trade value. But we do know that they want to keep the team together. They want to see what they can do. And in the other night against the Denver Nuggets, we were able to get an amazing performance out of a player like Anthony Davis, who put up 32 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 blocks with 0 turnovers, shooting 13 of 23 from the floor and 2 of 4 from 3. And this was his second game back from injury. Are we going to get this performance every night from Anthony Davis? Maybe not, but the fact that we got that type of performance against the Denver Nuggets, a team that he typically struggles against, as Jokic does outperform him, except now he has, you could argue, a better team around him, or more so a different team around him, and a team that actually works together, and we did get the dub. He got a good performance, and maybe, just maybe, we can get this moving forward. We do play the Miami Heat tonight. Of course, we're going to have some injuries, guys in and out the lineup, but the Dallas Mavericks are working on something huge. They've been building up their offense game after game after game. We are seeing the improvements. One of the biggest issues we had over the summer that we talked about was a lack of three-point shooting, and now we are somewhat a decent three-point shooting team. We already knew that our defense was going to be great, but we're a top 10 defense in the NBA. There are some things that are working for this Dallas Mavericks team, believe it or not, but it just takes time, which poses the question: should the Dallas Mavericks just blow it up? Should we blow it up now as things start to look better, or should we just hang tight and just hope that things will progress in the right direction? And if we continue with what we got going on today, as we have covered heavily on this channel, the trade rumors surrounding Anthony Davis and the idea of blowing it up, it all starts with AD. Like this report here, as the Chicago Bulls have discussed trading for Anthony Davis, saying the Bulls have had internal discussions about how to proceed, including conversations about Dallas Mavericks star Anthony Davis, sources told ESPN, whom they believe could help the team's porous rim protection and defensive interior. A lot of fans would argue that Anthony Davis has no trade value. You're not going to get anything for him, nothing but scraps. Some people would argue that a lot of teams are interested in Anthony Davis. They just want to see if he's actually healthy, which seems like the right answer. Yes, teams would trade for a healthy AD, if he's actually healthy. And we also were given this report just a few days ago from Tim McMahon talking about that trading AD is a real possibility, and I would even say likelihood this season. Trading Kyrie is not something that's on the Mavericks priority list, or is just straight up not something that they're interested in doing right now. Trading Anthony Davis, for whatever returns you may get, whether they're good or bad, does change the dynamics of this team. And I understand I'm a big proponent of team rebuild only because I want to see Cooper Flagg coupled with a couple young players actually develop and grow. I'm not necessarily sold on this team competing anytime soon, but there is a benefit with keeping them together even if they can't compete right away. Even if in the next 2-3 years we don't see a finals, there is a benefit in keeping players like Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, and Kyrie together, and that is for the younger players. But there is truth surrounding Anthony Davis possibly getting traded. And if we take a look at an article that came out just the other day from Noah Weber of the Smoking Cuban, he wrote an article saying Mavericks Anthony Davis trade whispers point to thrilling blockbuster destination. And the article is follows, saying Mavs could trade Davis to Chicago if rumbles turn to an earthquake. The Chicago Bulls and Anthony Davis, this is going to be a trade rumor that just won't die until he's actually traded. But the article follows, saying, according to Collier, multiple Bulls sources acknowledge the similarities between what they are trying to build and the way Indiana constructed a contender. The Pacers went from never making it out of the first round of playoffs to reaching the Eastern Conference Finals and NBA Finals in back-to-back seasons, and this started with trading for Pascal Siakam. Indiana knew that it had a future superstar in Tyrese Halliburton on their hands, but he couldn't do it alone. This is where Siakam came into play, and they reached the conference finals in the same season that they traded for him. So if the Bulls, for whatever reason, think that they have something very similar to the Indiana Pacers, then maybe they do want to trade for Anthony Davis. I'm not here to argue the motives of the Chicago Bulls, which, if you look at their track record of trades, not that good. But the Dallas Mavericks, that's the point of view that we really want to focus on. Do we want to gift the Bulls Anthony Davis if he is getting healthy and playing well, or are we just going to give them AD and us pick up some scraps? Or if Anthony Davis is hooping, if he's playing well, staying healthy, should we just capitalize on that ourselves? Why give another team a player that's playing very well, putting up good numbers, when we could use that ourselves? Especially if the players you get back can't produce at the same level as Anthony Davis. And on this channel, I've argued that the lack of draft picks is the most questionable thing about this Dallas Mavericks team. We have our next draft pick for next season. We do have the 2026 first round pick, which should be a good pick if this team keeps going the way it's going. But after that, the next 4 seasons, we do not control our first round picks, which is pretty scary, knowing that you have Cooper Flagg, but you also have a couple aging stars and not a lot of trade. I mean, you do have players that you could trade, but you don't have a good free agency market without Luka Doncic, without Kyrie Irving when he retires. Things are going to look pretty scary. But the article does continue by saying it seems like the Bulls leaked that they want a Davis-type player without saying it outright, and Chicago is definitely a team to keep an eye on moving forward. Before any of these trade talks heat up, though, Davis needs to remain healthy while playing at an elite level for Dallas. He just returned from a lengthy 14-game absence due to a left calf strain, and he has to prove that he can stay on the floor while being one of the best bigs in the NBA. The beginning of the season didn't do him any favors as he came into Mavericks training camp overweight and out of shape, but he has plenty of time to prove that he is one of the league's premier front court players. The trade deadline is 65 days away, and Dallas has 30 more games before then. The Dallas Mavericks, in 30 games in 65 days, have a big decision to make. Do they trust in what they have and just wait for Kyrie to come back and hopefully we can see some version of what this team is supposed to look like? Or do they take the next 65 days and raise Anthony Davis' trade value and just blow it all up? The Dallas Mavericks have a very tough decision, and honestly, you could go either way. Either you do blow it up, you get young players in trade capital, but for the next several years, you will continue to be a bad team as these young players develop. Or you could go all in with what you have. Trust in what you saw against the Denver Nuggets, and hopefully it translates into future games. And just hope that by the time Kyrie Irving returns, you can at least give the fans something. Maybe not make a deep playoff run, but just give the fans something to look forward to. And then next season, that's when, hopefully, if healthy, you right the wrongs from this season and you make the most out of it. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think the Mavericks should blow the team up? Do you think Anthony Davis should be gifted to some other team if he does get healthy and plays well? Or should we keep Anthony Davis? We should keep the players that we have. Maybe retool here or there. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Let me know in the comment section down below. We'd have a conversation about it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Discord. Links in the description below. And as always, y'all, take care. Drink water. Peace.